What's up, desktopers? Xavier Wills here for Desktop Bodybuilding, and we are back with another video. And today is part two of my two-part interview with Lee Priest, Australia's greatest bodybuilder of all time. And we touch on a huge amount of subjects once again, including how Lee tricked someone into thinking they're actually on PEDs with the placebo effect, self-sabotage, and peak week errors. Lee Priest on gurus, are they good or bad? Sensitive pro bodybuilders, and Lee being banned from Instagram. If you haven't checked out part one, make sure you check that out. The link is in the description below. Part two, you can sort of watch that first anyway and then go to part one. It doesn't really sort of follow on from one story to the other. So hope you guys enjoy this interview with Lee Priest. It is real, it is raw, and is Lee Priest super honest, as you guys know and love him. Anyway, guys, enjoy the video. Yeah, absolutely. Now, obviously, your arms are something that you're sort of known for over your career. You know, like some of the best, if not the best, arms of all time. And at one point, back when you were competing, you definitely have the best arms in the world. How does it feel? Like, do you ever think about that and go, I've got the best arms in the world out of 7 billion, 6 billion people? Like, does that feel weird to actually even think about?
I never think about it, because to me, it's like, I even find it weird now. I'll be places now with the wife or out with friends. People come take a photo. Oh my God, I can't believe it's Lee Priest. Like, I'm just Lee. It's like, yes, okay, I might have inspired someone to train or lose weight, or someone gets motivated by watching my things. But I'm really just Lee. I don't see myself as Lee Priest, this person. I just see myself generally as Lee Priest, a fucking dickhead or whatever you want to call me, a cunt, whatever. But that's how I see myself. I don't see myself as anything special. I'd see myself generally. I was always backstage, and no matter who was backstage, I'd always think they looked better than me. I'd be with someone pumping up. I'd be like, oh, fuck, look at him, look at his arms. They look better than mine. And they'd be going, are you fucking crazy? I'm like, no, I'm being serious. Look at his arms. Look how good they are. They're like, you can't see your arms. I said, I can see them, but his look much better than mine. And even like when MD brought it out, because I had it in my court case for the accident on my neck, where it said I had the best arms in history of bodybuilding. It was voted on by people in the industry, magazine writers. I think I was first, Phil Heath was second, Arnold third or something, and all been voted on. So I still kept that article. And now, because one arm got injured a bit in the car accident, people would say, you got the best arms ever. I'm like, well, I got the best arm at the moment. I don't know about arms. So it's like, one arm's a bodybuilding arm, the other arm's men's physique. So it's like, I can do both.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but I never saw myself like that. Well, no, not when it came to arms or anything. Yes, it's nice to hear and stuff, but to me, it's like anything. I guess if you see yourself all the time, people even say now, your arms look big now, but I'm just like, yeah, compared to what they used to. It's like when I see people put those niceties at like Machiavelli or those type of people do those inspirational, motivational things. I look at that and I think, fuck, did I die? This is like what you're saying at a funeral. It's like this is your life type thing. But people, as soon as they come out, oh, this is so inspiring, I think, fuck, I watch that and I get so depressed. I'm like, I look at the weights I was lifting back then. Oh, I did look good back then, but it's like, there's one that comes up now and then. I'm on the deck of Gold's Gym. I'm in World Gym. I had like the white tank top on. My hair's really white. Then I go out on the other deck and I'm wearing a black tank top and Superman shorts.
Yep, I know.
And I remember, I look at that now and I'm thinking, I looked okay then. But as soon as I see it, I remember that day playing as I was training and they wanted to do the photo shoot and this and that. And I was with my girlfriend at the time. I said, fuck, I don't want to do this. I'm fucking pissed off. I look like fucking crap. I don't want to do it. And as I had to take my shirt off, I wore a tank top. I remember as I'm doing the curls, I'm looking in the mirror going, this is fucking bullshit. You look like fucking dog shit. I just remember abusing the hell out of myself in my head. But now I look back and I'm like, fuck, I didn't look too bad back then. But it's so weird how your mind, I always tell people in bodybuilding, the training, the cardio, the dieting, that's the easy part. The psychological side of just your mindset, thinking you don't look good enough or maybe need to be a bit harder, controlling the mind and your thoughts is the hardest part. Doing the training stuff, that's fun. Yeah, sometimes the cardio can get tiring and the diet gets boring, but that's still the easy part. It's just the mind games you play with yourself as you're getting into that diet stage and getting towards the contest. I remember the '06 Ironman, my elbow was really sore and I was training in Texas. I had to wear like one of those sleeves all the time. I could barely move it, locking it out. And even 2 weeks out, I was thinking, oh, fuck, I really don't want to do it. I was this close to pulling out. I ended up winning the show. I was going to pull out. Then I'm thinking, well, if I pull out, then I would be more mad at myself for not doing it and stuff. So like I said, your mind can just start playing those tricks on you. So I've seen a lot of guys just self-sabotage, whether it be too many diuretics or you look fantastic 2 weeks out, but in their mind, or even that last week, I never did carb loading. I didn't do water loading, generally because I did all my photo shoots 2 or 3 weeks before. And that's the shape I was in. All I did the week before was maybe cut my water back, put tan on and pump up. If I had a little bit of water, maybe half a diuretic or a full one at most, that was it. So, but now the last week, you see, guys, we see it even now, a week or two out, we see these photos online. You look at Ruley or someone and you think, oh God, this guy's going to win for sure. Then the day to show you, like, what the fuck happened? It's like, if you look that good 2 weeks out, don't change your thing. Even if you're still training legs, and I never stopped training legs before a show. It's like your body's used to doing something. Your body's used to training a certain way, eating a certain amount of food. So why the last week do you think, oh, hold on, hocus fucking pocus, let me all of a sudden add 1,000 more carbs and drop the sodium and add this and throw these drugs in and take the diuretics? Of course your body's going to go haywire and it's going to be fucking hit and miss. If you're looking good, don't go fucking with it, because that's where your mind starts playing. It's like you could be looking good. You think, well, maybe if I just do this, I can get a little bit better. And then the guys have gurus who will be like, well, maybe try this. It's like, why try it now? If you want to do experiment, get in shape weeks before the show like I used to, and do experimenting then. Because if you do it that last week and the last couple of days, like I said, 50-50, how many times do you guys should have seen me before, or you should have seen me a couple of days after the show? Well, too fucking late then, isn't it? So I don't get why people got to do all this carb loading and go crazy. If you're looking good, just do what you're doing. It's like, I would even train, if the show was Saturday, I'd even train Friday. It's like, people are like, well, you should relax this. I'm like, why? If my body's used to doing something, why suddenly stop doing what I do? If I look this good doing it, why suddenly stop? Because your body's in that routine of training, cardio, eating those foods. And that last week, people changed the foods, changed the drugs, cut cardio out, stop training. So of course your body's going to sort of react a little different because you stop doing this routine. It's just natural. It's going to happen. So I don't get why people still do that.
I was talking to someone the other day that I did a posing session with, and they said, I'm going to load, their coach was having him load on, I think it was like 12 to 14 liters of water a day for like a week. And I was like, ugh. And they're like, what? And I was like, well, you're messing with your electrolyte balances. I'm like, unless you're replacing that, I'm like, it's probably going to be hard to fill out. You know what I mean? And then, well, so I was like, I don't know. I wouldn't do that. And I used to water load back when I was natural too, because that's just what everyone did. You know what I mean? And it was something you just do for a contest, and would always end up looking worse. And it'd be such a like, oh, I look decent right now, and then you look crap. You know what I mean? You look flat. You can't.
I'm not against gurus. Like some people might need gurus, but to me, I always did mine myself. That's like I said, I don't have a friend or a training partner. That's the most important thing. Just having a couple of honest mates who can tell you how good you're looking, a training partner to fucking push your ass through the gym or the grueling workouts, to be there on time. So, if I'm by myself sometimes, I go train at 6. No one's going to be there. I'll go at 7. I'll go at 8. But if you tell someone you're going to be there at 6, you're going to be there. So that's really all you need when it comes to the dieting, everything else. It's trial and error. No one knows your body better than you. It'd be like, say you call me up and go, Lee, can you get me ready for a contest? I'd be like, well, I don't really know you or how your body is. So I'm going to have to say, okay, Xavier, here's a diet. So I'm going to give you roughly a basic type diet. Go do this. Here's some sort of drugs. Go take them. And in 2 weeks, I'll get back to you. Get back to me. Okay, how are you feeling on this? Oh, this, that. You tell me you're bloated. You got no energy. Okay, well, maybe take that out and add these carbs and maybe add a bit of protein here. It's like, I'm just experimenting with you because I don't know how your body acts. So this is stuff that you should have done yourself over the years, taking notes in a book. If I eat this many carbs, I feel this way, I feel full. If I use DECA, if I use Test, I feel this way. So if you come to me for the first time, I'm just going to be throwing foods and different drugs to you till I find something that you say, oh, this feels good. I'm starting to look good. Okay, keep doing that. Okay, a couple of weeks later, how you looking now? Well, this has slowed down. Okay, let's maybe increase the cardio. That's all they're fucking doing. So I don't get why people just give everything over to these guys when these guys have been training their whole life. They know what to put in their body. It's like I said, I think Ian looks great. I think Ian's going to do well. But I always wonder, Ian must have this knowledge because Ian gets Chris Bumstead into the, look how great Chris looks, and he's won the Olympia twice. So I think to myself, Ian has this knowledge to get Chris in shape. Why can't Ian get himself in shape? That's the sort of thing I'm thinking, well, if you can get him to look that great, he's won 2 Olympias, but yet you're going to Patrick for advice. I don't understand why someone does that. Maybe they got a good reason. I don't know. But to me, it's like, if you can make Chris look like that, you can make yourself look great. Just believe in yourself. It seems like I have more faith in these people than they do in themselves, because I believe he could do it as long as he's got his great wife there. I'm sure he's got a great training partner. I'm sure he knows how to diet. Obviously, he knows dieting and supplements because he's telling Chris what to do. And look how great Chris looks. So, yes, you might have to change a little bit because he's got a lot more mass than Chris, but yet I can't see why he couldn't do it himself. And that's why I see with these other bodybuilders, some bodybuilders who are pro might have 50 clients. Some are girls, some are bikini, some are physique. You got some classic guys you train in bodybuilders. I'm thinking, if you can have fucking 50 clients and get them in shape for contests, why can't you get yourself in shape? I don't see why you have to go to somebody else. So say you're a pro bodybuilder, and you've got 50 clients, and I'm one of your clients, but when you get ready for a show, you go see Bob, whoever, I'm going to be like, well, yeah, Xavier's going to see this Bob guy. I'm going to go fucking see him because Xavier trusts this guy more than he trusts himself. So fuck having you train me anymore. I'm going to go see who you're seeing. So it's like, I just don't get why they can't do it. Yes, yeah, it's risky. And sometimes I think that's the thing too. When you get that frame of mind, you start second guessing yourself. That's why I've always said, if you're doing that, comes to drugs, some guy, like if I came to you and you put me on a drug cycle, you're not going to know what works for me. It's just like I said, okay, I've given this to someone before. They really like the bit of Tren, and that's I'll give you Tren, and I'll give you this. And you might say, oh, take Tren. I don't really like the feeling of it. Okay, we'll cut that out. Let's put in Sus 250. I said, the guru's only going to experiment with you and until they find out what works. And even when what works, the following year ain't going to work the same, because I've had diets where I can come in looking great. I could use the same exact diet, the same drugs, but the following year look totally different. So you've always got to make changes because your body's naturally always changing and that every year. So
yeah,
like I said, I just wish people would have more faith in themselves. Like I said, just having honest friends and a good training partner is really all you need, and a good support group behind you. I'm not knocking the gurus, but I just sometimes wonder at that level why they, people have coaches, I understand, in all different sports, but they're like coaches. But it just seems bodybuilders sometimes just give over free reign to the guru to say, okay, tell me what to eat. And I used to say to Dilek, when Dilek lived with me, I said, why do you use Chad? And Dilek was just like, Lee, I'm lazy, because I see like his diet on the fridge and the drug cycles. And trust me, Paul didn't use half of what people said he did. Because Paul was so freaky and shit, like, oh, he's taking this and taking that. I hear the stories. I'm like, Paul lived with me for 8 months. I fucking saw what he took every week. It's not anywhere near. Oh, that's because you're his friend. And I said, I'm not lying for him. I said, I saw what he fucking took. He'd be like, me, we'll load up a Winstrol syringe, put on the coffee table. Oh, we should have a shot today. And we'd be like, oh, can't be bothered, me either. And that same syringe will probably be sitting there 2 days later. We still hadn't taken it. Whereas I know amateurs, I've got to have my shot today. I've got to have my shot today. I said, don't worry about it tomorrow. Oh, no, it's fucking Monday. I've got to have my shot today because the life of the shot starts to decrease after a certain amount of time. I've got to stay in this anabolic state. I'm like, oh, fuck me. Yeah, it's like those ones that after they train, I've got to eat now. I've got to eat now. The anabolic window. I'm like, why don't you go jump out the anabolic fucking window, you dickhead? Because like they take it so fucking serious. It's like, well, if I don't do this, I'm going to go catabolic. I'm thinking, have you seen the amount of fat you got on your body? I think your body might start eating the fat before it attacks your fucking muscle. So don't worry about going catabolic where you're going to be Ethiopian overnight if you don't fucking eat right now. I said, some take it to the point of craziness. It's like, just have fun, enjoy the training. And that's another thing when young kids come up, they'll be like, you think I have to take what to do pro? I said, I don't know your genetics. I don't know your mindset or that fight you got in you to push yourself, whatever. I said, listen, then they'll talk about drugs. I said, listen, if you're young, don't even touch drugs. Trust me, like me, when I was young, I first took them at 19, but up until then, people still think I took drugs. I said, listen, if you train hard and you eat right, you got the right mindset and you bust your ass, if you've got the genetics for it, and you're probably seeing it too, if someone's genetically gifted, that probably goes for any sport, and you put your mind to it and you do what you have to do to get in that sport, it will happen. I said, so if you're sports bodybuilding and you're training every day and you're eating and resting without touching a drug, you're naturally going to grow. You're just going to know this sport's for you. Simple as that. If you're fucking training and eating year after year and nothing's happening, then bodybuilding isn't for you. All of a sudden, taking drugs ain't going to make you this champion. It might add a little bit of muscle. It's like me. It's like I might have loved basketball back when I was little. I'm never going to be in the fucking NBA, no matter how much I fucking played or took drugs or shit or baseball. It's shit at it. It'll happen. You can sort of be, because some people say, I'm going to be Mr. Olympia. I'm like, well, fucking hell, maybe start a local show first before you jump to Mr. Olympia. I said, but you don't need to say shit like that. If you train hard and you love it and you have a passion for it, it will happen no matter what sport it is. If you put your mind into it, or it doesn't have to be a sport, it could be a job, a career. If you focus on it and give everything to it, it will happen if that's what it's meant to be. And tell people then, taking drugs so early, like I said, some young kids now take them at 18, 17. I said, you don't know what genetic potential was. Go as far as you can naturally. And then if it's bodybuilding, add that shit in later, because at 18, 19, your natural testosterone should be through the roof. And you've got the genetics for bodybuilding. Why start taking the drugs? Just let your natural body go. But I think people are impatient and they want to be big. And I always used to say too, it's funny, because you probably know it too, everyone that gets into bodybuilding and takes drugs thinks they're going to be huge. They're going to get big arms and big chest and become freaky. And if they're not freaky, well, that's because you're taking more than me. That's why you're bigger than me. I said, why is this just in bodybuilding? I said, I've got friends that play golf on the weekends or during the week, and they have fun doing it. They go out and have fun. They're not out there hitting the fucking golf ball going, oh, fucking next year, fucking Tiger Woods, you're going to be shit. I'm going to beat you or something. Or I've got friends that play tennis for fun, like, have little games with their families, mum and dad, or they're playing little competitions. They're not saying, oh, watch out, fucking Djokovic or Murray and shit. I'm going to become a fucking pro tennis player and beat your ass. It's like, why is it just in bodybuilding? As soon as people take drugs and lift weights, I'm going to be bigger than you. I'm going to win the Mr. Olympia. I'm going to do it. It's like, okay, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. Don't fucking go talking all this bullshit and stuff like that, because generally it's not going to happen.
Yeah, I think the thing about bodybuilding, why people think this, is because they know, okay, pro bodybuilders, they don't train for 6 hours a day, 7 hours a day. And also it's about the physique, you know what I mean? So if someone's got a shit golf swing, someone go, oh, you got a shit golf swing, and yeah, piss off, blah, blah, blah. But if you go, you got a shit physique, it's like, whoa, that's about your body. That's what you look like. So people get very sensitive about that. And I see it so much in bodybuilding. I've spoken about pros, and I've said literally not even critiquing, just saying like, he didn't bring the best.
Oh, then it's like,
that's why. And they get pissed. Like it is it's actually incredible, because I am pretty, and when I talk about pro bodybuilders' physiques, because I want to interview these guys, I'm, reasonably aware of what I'm saying and trying not to be offensive, but saying, if they're off, I'll say they're off. You know what I mean? But you'd think that I've said they're shit, they should give up, don't bother ever again. That's what you think I'd said by their reaction. So I get it sometimes. I'm not too bad,
I don't really get it, because I've had shit. I get critique about my physique. I get critique about just my daily life or my fucking hairstyle. Or now I'm getting critiques. Here you go, people bitch about, I've got hair on my fucking arms. People commenting on the things all the time. Why doesn't he shave his arms? Because I'm not fucking competing. I only shaved my arms when I was competing. Okay. Yeah. If I'm not competing in a sport that needs shaved arms and I don't have to shave, I'm not going to shave them. Yeah, but people are like, it's like you said, you did that video. I watched it even because, how we discussed Hardy's shoulders. No one said they're full of oil. We just said they look weird. And everybody has said that before. Yeah. And I said,
I did a video and said it.
I've had shots in my shoulders. I pretty much always did my delts because I couldn't reach my ass. I got no scar tissue, but I could tell you, there'll be sometimes I'd put a needle in, you hit that nerve, you're like, oh, fuck. It gets sore. And then 2 days later, you got this big lump. If I was doing photo shoots or videos, I wouldn't wear a tank top. I'd wear a T-shirt over it, because you could just tell that doesn't move. And then when you do raise your arm up, you can just tell something's been hit in there, because that's not naturally how a shoulder looks. And, you're not coming down anyone, but, if you've been in this sport long enough, I've seen guys who have had the shot in the glute near contest time, and they're that lean, you can see this fucking lump in their ass cheek. Like, well, we know that's not a muscle sitting there, is it? So I don't know why they get so sensitive about it. Like I said, too, you're like us or anybody else. If we're not at the show, we're only judging by the photos or the videos. And sometimes they're not accurate. That's why I always say, well, going by this, it looks like he should be second, but maybe he's in better shape than I can see on the video or photos. Maybe he should win. So you're only giving an opinion. Like you said, you're not saying you fucking dog shit, give up or shit like that. You're just saying, from what I see, it's like people come down to me, oh, fuck you don't like Rami. I think Rami's great. But to me, I like Brendan Curry's physique better. Type thing. Or then I said, like, Rami's big, got huge shoulders, but I also too, like, when you look at Phil, like, if you put Phil at his best and Rami at his best, to me, Phil would always win, because yes, Rami's big, he's got big legs and shit, but Phil is like that other dimensional bodybuilder, like in a small Bonac, just that 3D. When you look at an action figure like the He-Man dolls, that's like Phil Heath, like that action figure where it's just like popping everywhere, where it doesn't look real. Whereas yes, Rami's huge and big, but he still doesn't have that free. It's hard to explain. I'm sure I'm going to get hate mail for it now. Even people, but it's like that's what I mean. It's just like, yes, okay, you might love Rami, you think he's the bee's knees, but I think I prefer, me personally, I prefer someone of like, Brandon Curry's physique at the Olympia and stuff like that. That's just what I find pleasing. Yes, I love freaky bodybuilders like the Dorian Yates and people like that. But yet, if you're asking me, but yet, if you don't seem to agree with them, oh, fuck you, this and that. If you talk about the things like I said, even with the Hardy thing, when I mentioned it even last year, I got that many fucking death threats. Fuck you. I don't know how many times, even that shoulder one that you mentioned, you do this and that, where you just because you're a short fucker and this you're only scared, upset because you're a midget. I'm thinking, I'm 5'5.5". I think Hardy's only like 5'6", 5'6.5". So, I'm not really worried about my height, which I never have been worried about my height, but just the shit they come up with. But what did you ever fucking do in the sport and this and that and blah, blah, blah. Here we go. It's like,
yeah, obviously they don't know.
You're just giving an opinion. You're not coming down on anyone. It's just like I said, if you're critiquing someone's physique, it's like, when people critique my physique, I just laugh and go, hey, whatever, that's your opinion. Some people didn't like the way I looked. Yes, I had a longer torso or shorter, shit like that. Well, that's fine. People like the flex physique type. I understand that. Everyone has their idea in their mind of what they like or what their ideal, if they could look like, would be. So it's like I said, you're just giving an opinion. And then, like I said, if there's a lineup and you're watching on the computer or you're watching what people post, you can only go by what you see there. So, you're not there. So that's why I'd always say, well, I'm not there, but judging by this, because like I said, even being in the audience looking at it's different to the lighting from a computer or photos that people put up. You can see two people can take the same photo, but yet whether it be a different camera to angle it just a little bit on, or just the way their camera phone or their camera takes a photo, two same shots of the same person can look totally different. I remember at the Olympia would sit there and you'd see them on stage, but they had those big screens up, the big TVs. You could guarantee when you look up at the TV, they look twice as shredded on the TV as what they did on the stage. You'd be like, oh, fuck, he looks a little bit smooth. Then you go, well, fuck, he looks shredded up there. So it's just different. And so it's like, oh, but the people shouldn't get mad. That's what I could never understand. I said it a few times. I said, here we have these big fucking grown men. I mean, muscular men, like the epitome of what you think a male body would look like, this huge Greek god thing. But you say one little thing about them, they become like a little bitch. You fucking said that about me. It's like, you're a fucking man, for God's sake. Yeah, you shave your legs and arms, you faggot. But, only joking. I'm not gay, homophobic. Yeah, but it's like, but as I said, you got these big muscular men who look tough as fuck. You think, if you look at them, you think, this guy's a fucking killer. But yet you just say, oh, your legs were smooth. Oh, fuck, what, you're going to break down and cry?
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah. And maybe they got into it because of insecurities. You just don't even know, but it's super.
See, that's another thing I never did. I got into it, going back to when I was young, the main reason I got into it, I think I ever said, was I loved He-Man. I used to love the $6 million man because my mum named me after Lee Majors, and that's why I loved this. Anything that had to do with strength, I loved, and shit like that. So when He-Man cartoon come out and I got the He-Man action figure, I want to look like that. And then I think Rocky, around 86, that's going to show my age, is when Rocky 4 came out with Ivan Drago, and just all his training in that. So I started training in the garage, doing the same sit-ups where he's raising his legs up and chin-ups on the thing. And I pushed my mum's car back and forth in the driveway. I just put it in neutral and pushed the car back and forth. So it made it look like the He-Man doll. I wasn't bullied. It wasn't because I was shorter. It wasn't this. It wasn't that. I just wanted to look like the He-Man doll. That was it.
Yeah, that's a cool story, because a lot of people have epic stories on how they got into bodybuilding, or it's like because of your sport and they got into it and they got addicted to it. And I love like the way that you actually speak about things. You don't try to make things like a movie or anything like that. You literally just say exactly how it is in terms of like everything, in terms of, like you said, your drug cycles, in terms of absolutely everything. And it's refreshing. You know what I mean? Because I remember
that's the funniest thing now. It's like being honest, so honest. That's the funny thing. It's like you can look at interviews over. It's like those Tom Platz videos I did, where it's all about the drugs. I think there was me, Cormier, Coleman, Matarazzo. There's like 8 of us. And all the other guys, Tom blacked their face out and they changed their voices. I said, Thomas, you don't need to do that to me. I said, I've got nothing to hide. My sponsors didn't like it, but I always said to my sponsors, listen, I'm not saying what I used. I say, this is what I've used. So it could be past tense. I never said I'm using now. I said, this is what I've used. I said, because I watched Tom Platz at a seminar once when he came to Australia. And I was sitting down, it's a couple of guys across from me, I could hear him. You ask him, you ask him, now you ask him. But here we go. Do you use steroids? And Tom's like, yeah. Tom's like, yes, I have. And they're like, oh. because they'll probably think he's going to say no. And I respected it at that time. So I said, I was going to be that way. So even my sponsor said, Lee, you shouldn't say. I said, look, I'm not going to get out there and lie. I'll say, look, this is what I've used. I'm not saying this is what I'm using. But to me, it's like if you walk out there and someone asks you a question, no matter what it is like that, and you say no, from that point on, they're going to go, he's fucking lying. I'm not going to believe a word he says from this day on. But the funny thing is, from whether it be my family life, my sex life, my drug use, I've been as truthful as I can. I don't know how many times people say, he's fucking lying. He's lying. I said, I got no reason to lie. If I took 10,000 IU of growth a week, I'd say, listen, I take 10,000 IU of growth a week. This is how I feel. This is what it did. If I took 5,000 milligrams of test a week, I say, listen, I took 5,000 milligrams of test. But it's like, when I helped, Jake was telling the story even when I helped Jake get ready for the Worlds that time.
That's
Graham Mansfield asked me to help him. And, sometimes I don't like that responsibility because I said, because I've done it myself, I said to Jake, well, I can sort of show you. Yeah, so I gave him a diet and stuff. He's getting ready for the Worlds and he was telling me what he's taking. I'm like, growth in this? I said, what you got that for? So I gave him the diet and training. Then he emailed me and said, what about the gear cycle? I said, Jake, I said, when it comes to that, look, I only know what I've used. I haven't read the steroid Bibles. I'm no fucking scientist. I said, look, I'll send you similar to what I did if you want to do the same. So I sent him one of my similar cycles. Within 10 minutes, he writes me back, are you fucking with me? I said, what do you mean? He goes, that's not enough. I said, Jake, I said, listen, that's what I took. I said, if you're going to trust me with the dieting and training, I said, trust me with this. So Jake followed it. He went over there and won the Worlds. No growth hormone in the thing, no nothing. And he even said, Lee, he goes, that's the best I've ever felt and the best I've ever looked. That's why I tell people, I said, if you don't want to believe me, I said, if you're taking 1,000 milligrams of test now or this or that, I said, come off for a while, still train hard, still, because that's the thing too. A lot of guys, when they come off drugs, I never lost size. Yes, I might lose a bit of fluid and stuff like that, but I never lost strength because why would you? But yet a lot of guys in their mind, okay, I'm off drugs now, so that they slow their training up. They don't go as balls to the wall, or their eating now becomes shit. So if you come off the gear, still fucking bust your ass, still eat the fucking food. You don't need to change all that. So it's like you shouldn't be going up and down because you come off a cycle. So I tell these guys, if you're on these big cycles now, I said, just come off it, come off everything. And then when you go back on, just do fucking half. And I guarantee you're still going to fucking get strong. You're still going to put the size on. I said, the only one who's benefiting from you taking these large amounts is the guy you're buying it off, because you're buying so much off him. He's getting fucking rich. You don't fucking need it. That's why this whole mentality, when I see some of these cycles that people do, I'm just like, why do you need that? Because I do seminars, and when it came to test, I wouldn't take any more cypionate than 400 a week. Oh, bullshit. I heard you take this and that. I said, well, I'm the guy fucking taking it. I should know what I'm taking, shouldn't I? So SUS 250, the same thing. If it's proper 250, you don't know if it's, they say 250 per mil. Who knows? It could be 225 per mil. Let's just say it's 250 per meal. I'd take 2 meals, which is 500 milligrams, and that's all I'd do. If I was taking Dianabol 30 milligram tab, I'd take one a day. Anadrol 50, I'd take one a day. But yet people think, oh, you take this. I said, I'll tell you exactly what I'm taking. I got nothing to hide. It's like shit. I said, look, I'm the type of person, like I said, I've told all my sex life. I said, if I'm the type of person, let's just say I went to a party, everyone's fucked up drinking, and the guy sucked my cock, and just one day in a conversation, someone goes, oh, is the guy who sucked your cock? I probably go, yeah, I was at this party once and the guy fucking sucked my cock. I said, I wouldn't give a fuck if you knew. I got nothing. It doesn't bother me. You could say, well, that's gay or shit like that. But well, I don't know. I said, felt good. Outcome was the same. I can't tell if he spat or swallowed. I was too fucked up. But I was like, I wouldn't care. I couldn't give a shit. It's like, it doesn't bother me. I just think it's like, people think I'd lie. But this, I'd rather tell the truth and tell young kids if they're going to do it, or even people who are older, you don't need these large amounts. Okay, if you're going to do it fucking safely. Use it, don't abuse it. It's like I said, if you're going to do it, at least try a small amount. Why jump to 1,000 milligrams first cycle? Why not start at 300, 400? You go, wow, this actually worked at 300 or 400. I don't need that large amount. So in the long run, you might save internal organs. Who knows? But even like I said, even taking 400, who knows if that's going to do damage to me over all these years compared to 1,000? I said, we're all made up different. People have different genetics, and things can speed things up. So, who knows what a safe amount is? What's safe for somebody might be, 400 for me, 400 for you could be dangerous for your liver and kidneys. Who knows? It's the risk you're going to take eventually, but why push it to that extreme when you don't have to?
Yeah, straight away. And I think a lot of people were sort of encouraged by what, like, they saw Boston Lloyd doing, what they saw Rich Piana doing, in terms of them putting that information out there so openly, and they'd heard what other people would put out.
But even
and they're like, oh, if they're taking this much, I need to. If I do half of that, which is still a crazy amount, they're like, oh, okay, well, I'll sort of get halfway there. It's like that's not how it works. There's a point where there's diminishing returns.
But even
yeah.
Didn't Boston in the end realize they taking on an amount didn't help, and even taking smaller amounts, he felt just as good in the end. And I've heard that from a few people now. Yeah, I've heard a few people say that now. The large amounts, they actually feel better taking a smaller amount and still got the same strength and shit like that. Because I remember I told the story once. There's a guy at the gym. He wanted to take Dianabol. I said, you don't need it. You know, he wasn't training properly. He's like, oh, my training's not going anywhere. I can't put size on. But he's the type of person, he might train 2-3 days a week. But then I'd see him eating. What'd you have for lunch today? Oh, I had a Subway sandwich and this and that. And then the weekend I see his Facebook going on a bender. I'm just like, oh, fucking hell. So I said, listen, this went on for months. Can you get me Dianabol? I'm like, oh, fucking hell. So I had an old bottle at home, nothing. I went and got those little fucking saccharin tablets and put in the Dianabol bottle. So I put the lid on and said, oh, I had a couple taken out. That's why the seal's broken, but you can have the rest of them. I don't want them. I said, just take 2 a day and swallow them. I said, but now this is what you got to do too. You got to train 5 days a week. Here's the split routine. Here's a set diet. I want you to have oatmeal and protein drink here, and then some eggs. And then in between that, you know, just have maybe a piece of fruit and the protein drink, lunchtime, chicken breast or steak. So I gave him this 6-7 meal diet plan. He was training, like I said, regularly. He was eating regularly, and his strength's going through the roof. He put on like 10 kilos. And I was like, towards the end, he's like, oh, these are great and shit. And I'm in the gym. I remember one day at the gym. Can you get me more Dianabol? I said, why? He goes, oh, because look at me. He goes, I put this size on, my strength. I said, do you have any left? He goes, I only got a couple. I said, get him out your bag. You got him out. I said, don't swallow them. I said, fucking chew them. He goes, oh, fuck this. I said, yeah, the fucking saccharin, you dickhead. I said, it's all in your fucking head. I said, just because you changed your training and your eating, that's what's giving you the fucking gains, not the fucking sugar tablets you've been taking. That's what I try and tell people. Sometimes it's just like just changing your diet and training can make all the difference. So before you go jumping on drugs, just like I said, you've got to be consistent. It's about consistency year after year after year after year, and just maintaining that type of thing. So that, yeah, people just want to go straight to the drugs first thing. As I said, you could be great without them. Sure, you're going to get to a level where you might need them, once I said, because people I say to me, well, Lee, you got to won the Australian the 19 without them. Why did you take them? I said, well, okay, I have good genetics for bodybuilding, but now I'm going to be a pro, and I'm going to be up against all these other guys who have great genetics for bodybuilding. Now, if they've got great genetics and they're on the gear, they're going to be a little bit better. So sadly for me, I'll have to take it to keep up with them. So your genetics can only take you so far in certain things, and then you're going to hit the wall, and then you will have to get assistance there. But, you know, why jump into it straight away? See how far you can go naturally before you get to that level. And some people might not want to get to that level. If you just want to stay amateur and stuff, and you're doing well as an amateur without the drugs, don't take the drugs. I'm amazed that so many people take them, I mean huge cycles, and never fucking compete. It's just to walk around and feel big and be big. I'm like, and I'll tell them sometimes, I said, you know, you're taking more than the pros. Oh, bullshit, you pros take more than this. I'm like, no, we don't. Yes, you do. I've read online. Oh, well, excuse me, if it's on the internet, and then it must be true. So that's just crazy. Because like I said, bodybuilding, you know, people, oh, there's a lot of deaths, but there's a lot of deaths in all sports. I'm sure if I followed football or car racing religiously, I'm sure over the years there's lots of car racers that die, mountain climbers that die. It's just that, you know, if you follow a sport, of course you're going to hear of deaths in that sport. But, you know, it's like I said, if you do it correctly, even like the natural guys, I'm sure they get health problems because maybe you're eating too much protein or this and that. But, you know, generally, if you eat a good, clean diet and you train hard or even just train and do cardio work, it's going to be better than doing nothing. And then sure, if you're adding a bit of steroids, could be harmful, could be not. Is somebody that trains religiously and eats a healthy diet and takes a little bit of test and that, is that any worse than somebody that eats junk food and smokes and drinks and shit like that? So it's like I said, as long as you have fun and enjoy it, that's the main thing. And just don't, like I said, abuse anything. You know, anything in moderation, no matter what it is probably a bit better than just abusing it. Like I said, you can have a few drinks and be fine. You can abuse alcohol, become a drunk and want to fight people and top in a car and drive drunk, you know? So it's like, anything in moderation. Like I said, you can eat a little bit of junk food and enjoy it, or you can eat every day and become a fat pig like me in the off season. So it's about moderation.
Yeah, and it's funny that there's a certain like risk reward to everything. You know what I mean? Like, you know,
exactly.
when you go and drive your car every day, someone could T-bone you and you could die in an instant, you know, but the risk is quite low, you know what I mean, in comparison to a lot of other things you can do. But then you can do stuff like, you know, jump out of a plane or you know, free fall, skydiving, all that sort of stuff. And it's like, yeah, there's higher risk with that, but what's the reward? It's like, I think people sometimes just think, okay, that's dangerous and this is not. And it's like, that's not how it is. There's a certain percentage, of, even a very small percentage of a lot of things you can do, you can die or get seriously injured or hurt or whatever. It's just assessing that risk and reward for yourself. And I think people try to push that onto other people. They say, oh, you shouldn't do
right. That's right.
It's like, well,
I joked around with, that's why I even joked around, because, you know, for me to travel, because my sponsors are overseas, I got to travel. So I wouldn't have had the vaccine if I didn't never have to leave Australia, because I'm like, I've never had a flu shot. I believe you're pretty healthy, you don't have any underlying conditions. And COVID, you might get it, but you're pretty much going to survive from it. I've had friends that have got it, didn't even know they had it because they're healthy.
Yeah.
Because I got to travel overseas and you got to have to go to different countries, I got it. And I actually had 2 AstraZeneca and 1 Pfizer. So, whoa, I'm one up on everybody. I'm still here and don't feel crazy. But yeah, I have friends who, like I said, I know they take fucking steroids. They buy them from fucking Bob's fucking, you know, car boot down the road. They fucking on the weekends drink beer, do cocaine, other shit, but they say, oh, Lee, you shouldn't put that poison in your body, that vaccine. I'm like, you're fucking taking fucking God knows what. Oh, I said, you're taking that test. Yeah, but on the bottle it says test. I'm like, oh, that's it. Is it because the fucking black market guy puts testosterone on the bottle? It's fucking real. I said, you don't know where it's made. What's in? I said, it could be Deca unless you get it tested. You don't know what fucking bacteria could be in that. So that's a risk you're taking, injecting into your body. I said, my wife works down, my wife is the manager of the tobacco shop. And I've been standing down there sometimes. There'll be people out the front and the conversation comes about the vaccines. And there'll be some woman there who she tells me buys 3 packets twice. I'm like 2 packets a day. I think, shit, that's an expensive habit. But she'll be at the front smoking away. Oh, yeah, I heard you had the vaccine. They're not going to make me put that poison inside of me. I think you fucking stand there smoking. Yeah, it's like, yes, I'm just like, it's just so weird. It's like, yeah, I'm not anti-vax, but it's not to the people. If you want to get vaccinated, get vaccinated. If you don't. But it's like, just the way people carry on about shit and stuff. I'm just like, really? You think that's going to be the end all to be all? And I don't know. It's just, yeah, but even then I had people like, oh, Lou, you're a sheep. You fell into it. I said, look, I've got to go overseas. I've got to keep my sponsors happy. And I said, it didn't bother me getting the vaccine. I'm not one of these, oh, I'm going to die. Yes, there's bad stories. You can hear, well, this happened, that person, that happened to this person. I'm like, well, but any drug you take, when I had my first neck operation, fucking hell, the amount of Oxycontin and codeine and shit the doctor gave me, I put myself in detox for 2 weeks to get off of that. And they were prescribed pain pills. So you can take anything that could fucking, I said, if you ever, any medication you get, if you ever read the labels and side effects on it, or you might get bleeding stomach, you might get this, you might get that. So, you know, there's no real good drug out there really that's fucking great. So
yeah. It was like on Bigger, Stronger, Faster, that documentary that I believe it was Mark Bell or Chris Bell or whichever one it was.
Yeah.
Did that. They said vitamin C. They read out the list of all the risks
to that side effects,
and they sounded brutal. And they said that's vitamin C. And it's like the same thing, but obviously that move is mostly that.
I think he was reading it out to the politician, wasn't he? Because talking to the politician, and the politician's like, well, that sounds very bad. He's like, that's vitamin C.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Oh.
It's like, oh, okay. So like, everything has a sort of a little bit of a risk to it. So yeah.
Well, look, I've heard of people dying from drinking too much water. They drown inside. You know, people have actually died from drinking too much water. So here's the thing that people say: drink plenty of water. It's good for you. Drink too much, it can kill you. So you know, it's crazy.
Yeah, exactly. Lee, I want to thank you so much for coming on Desktop Bodybuilding. I've kept
you
a long time. I'd love to do a part 2 of this interview as well, maybe post Olympia when it sort of comes down. But I want to give you a chance.
We've got a lot more to cover in my life. So even if you want, tell your viewers that watch this, the ones that don't hate me and abuse me, if you want to ask me any questions for part 2, ask, and Xavier can ask me the questions. And like I said, I'll answer anything. So be careful of what you ask me. I was even going to ask Xavier because you've got kids now. I used to ask my friend this about kids because I have a daughter now who's 29. That makes me feel old. I said, what do you got? Just 2 girls and a boy? Or
no, I've got one little girl who just turned 1 yesterday, and I've got a boy who's 2 years and 2 months.
Oh, now with the boy, I can see it. Now as you get on in life, you're going to be like, that's it, son, go out there, get that girl, you know, whatever. Yep. But with your daughter, I bet it's going to be totally different with the daughter, isn't it? No one's going to touch her. That's my girl. No one.
You know what? I always admired, like when I dated people, the dads that were really cool about it. I always like thought, okay, I'm going to be like that when I'm a dad. Now I've had a daughter. I'm like, I don't know if I can be that guy. I don't know
That's
if I
how I
can.
always wanted. My daughter and I were always so open. I knew when she first lost her virginity and shit like that. And I was young like me, so I'm like, oh, you are my
That's
daughter.
not
But
happening.
that's see, that's what I always say to, because my friend Aaron that sponsors me overseas, I said that to him. No one's going to ever touch her. I said, yeah, that's right, Aaron. I said, when you're sitting at home, she's going to be giving head to someone in the car. He gets all fucking. I said, just remember this, Aaron. You're sitting at home saying no one's going to do that to my daughter. I said, when did you lose your virginity? What age were you?
What age
I'm
was I?
talking to you.
Oh,
Yeah, you.
I think I was 16, which I wouldn't be
How
comfortable
old
with my
was
daughter.
how old was she? See,
16.
when you were out with this girl, at 16, guess what? Her dad was sitting at home saying, "No one's going to touch my daughter. No one's going to do that to my daughter." And now here you are.
Yeah, and stuff happens
It's
early.
it's called karma.
Yeah, it's a bitch, eh? It's
No, I was always under the impression. Look, I was open with my daughter. As long as, like I said, they could come to me and talk about it, I'd rather. I said, knowing's probably you don't want to know, but at least if they can talk to you about it, and they feel free enough to talk to you rather than hide it or do it somewhere unsafe or not use protection. I'd rather, just let be more open about it. Because like I said, it's going to happen no matter how good of a father and how many guns you got. They're going to be out there doing it. Because I always said, I'd say to Aaron, yes, that's right, Aaron. When you're at home or you're out banging that girl in the back seat of your car, her father was sitting at home going, my little girl's a good girl. She won't do that. I said, picture that, Aaron. Aaron's like, fuck you, Lee. Now I can't get the picture out of my head. That's what I'd say to him too. I said, why do you worry about it? He's like, oh, no one's going to do it to my daughter. I said, why? He goes, I can't picture. I said, well, you're not meant to picture it. You're a fucking father. I said, if you're picturing your daughter have sex, you're a fucking sick cunt.
Well, Lee, I've got a fair bit of life to go before she's that age because she just turned 1. So
exactly. Oh, imagine what the world's going to be like then. They'll probably be just having fucking sex by computers and getting pregnant by some fucking nano type thing then. It's like the world's changing so fast now. God, I don't know what's going to be happening there.
Yeah, I've said that a lot lately. Like, the world is like, I'm like, think about 2 years ago. Would you have ever thought the world would be where it is 2 years later? I'm like, imagine the next 2 years or the next 10 years. I'm like, oh, like it's.
I always think like, technology's going like this. And as technology's moving so fast this way, humanity's fucking going the other way.
Yeah, I'm like, something's got to break eventually. I'm like, things are moving too quick. There's going to be like some sort of, I don't know, like.
Well, you think back 10, 15 years, some movies you'd watch, sci-fi movies, you're like, oh, that's cool. And now it's happening. I remember when I was young, Dick Tracy, talking into his watch. People are like, oh, fucking phone watch. What a load of shit. And now everyone's got phone watches. You got watches, tell your heart rate, phone watches that give you ECGs and this sort of shit. Or it's like, the way things are going now, who knows what it's going to be. Like I said, I love technology, but sometimes I do think it is moving too quick. Even like I said, just something as basic as phones now with Facebook and Instagram. I said technology's going and humanity's going this way because a lot of people are losing communication skills. I'll be out walking in the morning, you say hello to people, fucking talking to me. Everyone's so used to their phones and messages. And how many times now, even I'm guilty of it sometimes. It was Father's Day the other day. I should call my dad. Oh, fuck it. Happy Father's Day. You send a text. Sometimes you don't even want to talk to people now. You fucking text people and this sort of shit. So I think we've got to get back to connecting better off. Humans need to start this connection thing because everyone's just getting in their own little world of Facebook and Instagram and this online persona that we're actually losing communication skills and actually talking to people. Not even when I'm out walking, the elderly people are fine. They love a chat, and I love talking to elderly people because they've got so much knowledge and they've been around for so long. But anyone probably in their 40s and under, you say hello to them and stuff, it's like, oh, fuck, you talking to me? Or what the fuck? Or sometimes they're just so rude. You're like, oh, excuse me. Go back to your fucking Tinder, left and right, keep swiping.
Well, it's funny, Lee, because where I used to live, I used to live about 15 minutes north on the coast as well. I live right near the coast now. And there's off sort of road tracks and stuff where you can walk around. And there's I would go do my cardio at 6 in the morning or whatever before my son wakes up. And I'd go and do that my last prep. And I would, most people I'd say, hey, good morning, whatever, try to smile. I'm try to have some sort of a very small positive impact on someone else's life. Just smile and try to, if they look down, sometimes that might go, oh, okay, cool. People are friendly and happy and all that sort of stuff. And some people I'd say it to, and some people wouldn't say anything back. So they would just go, look at you confused and keep walking.
Yeah.
I'd just be like, oh, motherfucker. And then everyone else I'd say hi to. But where I live now, if I was saying hi to everyone, it would be like, hey, hi, yep, yeah. And so I don't bother now. But yeah, I would say that to people, good morning, blah, blah. and try to, you know, be positive and be happy and stuff. But some
Yeah,
people like, wow, like
I
why
know.
are you so miserable?
It's
You know?
like the other morning. It's like the other morning. I went walking on the break wall in Stockton for a change. On the Stockton break wall, they got these like cats that come out. So I'm walking on taking photos of cats. There's a couple of old ladies feeding them. The next thing is I've got 6 cats at home. I was meant to be on this brisk walk. I'm standing there talking to these old ladies about cats and this and that and how they help them and rescue them. And here I am like a proud parent with my phone. Now here's one cat I rescued from the pet shelter. I'm showing them all these cats of mine. He's this big muscular guy with little cats on his shoulder. They were thinking, what a fucking weirdo. But I like talking to, others, like old people like that. And yeah, I just enjoy it. But like I said, just the way it's going now, but you know, you see it now, young kids, you know, we're all young, we'd all sit around and talk and fool around. Every young kid you now is sitting there
Yeah. And
out,
honestly,
out at
I
dinner,
fall victim
out
to
at
it as well.
restaurants. Everyone's on their phone. No one's communicating. It's like I even see couples. Like if I go with my wife, I don't take my phone because I don't need it. I might keep it in the car in case car crash or a car broke down for emergencies. But if you're out at dinner with your missus, I see couples sitting there. What's
Yeah,
that?
out at dinner, that
I'm like,
that's
what?
yeah.
I'm like, what? What's going on? It's like, it's just weird. But the thing too, it's like when it comes to, I know we said we're going to say goodbye, but even when it comes to relationships now, I think Facebook and Instagram. Whereas back if you had a girlfriend back in the day, they had a little argument, you'd be like, okay, I'm sorry, you'd work it out. You know, you'd put effort into making it last.
Yeah.
But now it's like, fuck you, break up. Well, I don't care because whether you say you're a guy, well, fucking Sarah, Julia, they all give me fucking love hearts and smileys on Facebook. Fuck you, I'm going to go talk to them. And same with the girls now. It's like, because they've got all this attention on Instagram and Facebook, they don't put effort into their relationships anymore. Oh, you don't want me? Well, these other 10 guys, they've sent me, how are you? How are you going? Or fuck a cock shot. They're fucking, you know, it's like, it's just so easy. It's almost like relationships are disposable. No one wants to put that time and effort into making them work anymore because if it doesn't work with you, I've got 10 others here sending me nice messages. I'll go talk to one of them. It's just, it's crazy.
Yeah, exactly. And I know some guys, I've had a few clients where they've said, like, I'm like, oh yeah, just shoot me a message on Instagram. They're like, oh, I don't have Instagram. I go, oh, okay. Like it's sort of a surprise these days. And I've sort of always asked them like, oh, why? And they're like, I'll get in too much trouble. Like they're just like, I can't.
Well, like I said, if I didn't have sponsors or anything, I wouldn't have Instagram or Facebook.
I said the same thing.
I'd have like friends, because like I said, my friends and I'd have either have their number or email and communicate that way. But well, lately, I really don't have Instagram because Instagram took my account 3 months ago. I had like 500 and something thousand followers, all gone. I'm back to 6,000 now. I used to be official Lee Priest, and I get people writing me, why'd you block me? I said, I didn't block you. Instagram took my account. So now at the moment, I'm real Lee Priest at the moment. Okay. I'm trying to get the old account back, but someone was just abusing the hell out of me. I said, oh, why don't you go cliff dive over some rocks? That's all I said. Just a nice friendly, go cliff dive over the rocks. Boom, account gone.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I saw something the other day. A mate of mine said something about catching up or whatever under one of my comments, and I said, oh yeah, slide into my DMs, and I put hashtag send nudes, and that got flagged, and I lost my account for 3 days. And I'm like, it's my mate. It's like,
it's crazy. I can't even say the word fool. I see other people writing fool about Biden once. So I said, oh yeah, he's a fool. Boom, on Facebook. 30-day suspension. I'm like, 30 days for saying the word fool? I said, my name must be on top of their list no matter what I write. I posted something not long ago defending Aaron, my friend in England, on Instagram. I'm on Facebook, and when I didn't write nothing bad in it even. And when I put post, this is like similar post to such and such. Do you really want to post this? I think, yes, what I wrote, I want to post it. So I'm thinking at some point tonight, I'm probably going to go log into Facebook. I just got it back on after 30 days, 2 days ago. So I'll probably be off again soon. So
fingers crossed you're not, but we'll see. But Lee, thank you so much for coming on Desktop Bodybuilding. Do you have any sponsors or anything like that you want to thank?
Just Mental Hamster. I like to thank Aaron for being with them now. He's like based out of UK, but great products. And I don't push people. That's another thing too. People always say, Lee, you push them because they pay you. No, when I was with Muscle Tech, I had a 3-year deal. I got out. That's another story. I got out of the contract in 8 months because the products were shit. And I said, I'm not going to lie to people because, again, if someone's working hard for their money and they got me in the magazine, or I'm saying this is the best product ever and it's shit, and someone spends their hard-earned money and buys it, they said, Lee Priest told me to buy it and it's shit, they're never going to trust or believe me again. So I didn't care what companies gave me money. I took less contract money sometimes because if that was a good product, I'd rather be with them than push shit that, I don't believe in. I've never been that way. People are like, oh, you're just saying that because they pay you. I'm like, no, trust me. I've got in trouble a lot with sponsors when I'd be with a company and they say, Lee, can you say this is better? I said, no, it's shit. People said it's shit. Yeah, but I said, well, then fucking change it. I'm not going to say it's great when it's not. So I've never been that way when it comes to anything. So, yeah, but the Mental Hamster, I'm with them. And, Aaron's got the Mental Hamster supplements. He's got Mental Zoo, which is Mental Zoo's the website where he's got Mental Vodka. He's got coffee shops in England. He's got Mental Culture Clothing. But they're like my main sponsor right now. Yeah. So it's been really good with him. So, yeah.
Yeah, and it's cool when you have a sponsor as well that will sort of let you say your honest opinion. Like I've been sponsored by some, either through Desktop Bodybuilding or whatever in the past. And I've always said before the sponsorship starts, look, if there's a product that you guys put out that I'm not going to take, like I don't like high stim stuff. I just feel shit on it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, I'm not going to promote that and say I use it. Like some people will. Some people literally, they will sell their soul in terms of that and lie to people. To have that sponsorship, and I'm like, I can't do that. Like, I'm just not.
I've never been that way because, like I said, it's like bodybuilding's an expensive sport if you're going to take it that far. And there's lots of teenagers too, and I'd see young kids having to get money off their parents to buy a product because I said it's good. And I don't want that young kid or whoever, even if you work hard and you got family and kids, and if you're a father or an adult, your missus can buy shoes and dresses, but heaven forbid you say, I'm going to buy some protein powder. She'll be like, do you really fucking need that? What are you going to waste money on that for? So if you're going to waste money on it, I want it to work for you so you don't get in trouble. And your wife say, oh, you're wasting money on that. So yeah, I'll always put my name to something if I really believe in it. If I don't, I'm not going to promote it. And like I said, I had so many sponsors get mad at me, but I'm like, hey, if you don't like what I'm saying, make the product better. That's simple.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Lee, thank you so much for coming on Desktop Bodybuilding.
Let's say goodbye for the third time again. Don't ask me another question. You'll keep me going.
Yeah, three times is our thing now. So like it took 3 times to get this done, 3 times to say goodbye. But everyone, if you
hang up. No, you hang up. No, you hang
up. If anyone has any questions for Lee when we do this part 2, probably post Olympia, I'd say, because it's going to be very busy with content on this channel.
Yeah.
Make sure
and the Arnold coming up.
Yeah, the Arnold only a week and a half away now. Not even that. Yeah, probably about a week and a half.
It's going to be a great show. I'm glad Sergio lit the fire under some people. It's going to be a great.
Yeah. Got Nick Walker in there. Rolly's in there obviously as well. So yeah, it's going to be an awesome.
Well, look, now we're talking again. Just say goodbye. Yeah. Now we're going to go into contest coverage.
All right. So that's Lee Priest, Australia's best bodybuilder of all time, in my opinion. Like I said, post in the comments below. Also, like this video, smash that like button if you enjoy this content. Also, subscribe and hit the notification bell button. So for Lee Priest and myself, Xavier Wills, we are out. So that's it for part 2 of my 2-part interview with Lee Priest. Like I said at the start of this video, if you have not seen part 1 yet, go back and watch it. The link is in the description below. Follow Lee Priest on Instagram as well, as his accounts continue to get banned and blocked and all that sort of stuff on there, which is super unfortunate. So make sure you do follow him, and let me know in the comments below what questions do you want Lee Priest to answer. He has agreed he'll come back on the channel once again. And I want to say sorry to Lee as well for this interview taking so long to actually be put up on the channel. So anyway, guys, let me know what you think in the comments below. If you did enjoy this interview, let me know in the comments as well about that. Plus, give this video a thumbs up, smash that like button, also subscribe and hit the notification bell button. That way you'll be notified of every video that goes up for myself, Xavier Wills, at Desktop Bodybuilding, including my next interview that is going up with Dorian Hamilton, the owner of HD Muscle, Pure Muscle and Fitness, a whole bunch of businesses, incredibly successful, and a guy that's been very close to actually winning his IFBB Pro card in bodybuilding as well. Also, if you guys want to save 10% on HD Muscle products, which are amazing supplements, honestly, just check out all the ingredients list. It tells you exactly what's in the products. They are absolutely next level. I love them. I've been using them and definitely got some good gains off them recently. Use the code DESKTOP. You save 10% off your entire order. Even if there are specials on the website already, you get an extra 10% off. And then if you spend a certain amount, you get free shipping within Canada and the US. So make sure you do check that out and use the code DESKTOP, or just click the link in the description below. So that's it for me. For Xavier Wills and Lee Priest, we are out.